Hello everybody, Andrew Blake from the digitalaudiomanual.com, and today we're going to explore creating harmonic parts using chord functions in Cubase. When you talk about chords or chord functions, you are entering a feature-rich subject in Cubase. There are so many options and things you can explore. I want to show you a few different tips to make sure that you're maximizing how much fun you're having and to test your skill level and give you some tangible things to work with. Let's say we take this piano track and we go over to the Chords tab and come down to the option that says Live Input and change this to Chords. This is going to allow us to play something in real time, and it's going to follow whatever chosen chords we have up here on the chord track. If I hit record and just start to play some single notes, when I played that, I hit the same note every time, but because the option for chords is set on the live input, Cubase automatically changed the notes to match these existing chords. This makes coming up with some simple melodic ideas intuitive, allows you to focus on the feel, and let Cubase do all the work to make sure things are in tune. If I hold Alt and drag this track down, allowing me to make a duplicate of it, going to this first track, and then coming back over to this chord tab, I have an option here that says Follow the Chord Track. And right now this is set to off. If I hit this drop-down list, I have a number of different choices. I'm going to come down and take this choice that says Single Voice. I'm given a dialog with a couple of different options. Staying with this first default choice, it says Follow Directly. I'm going to say OK. If I listen to my part, immediately I have some kind of harmony going on. And if I look over at the chord tab, besides the single voice, in this other drop-down, it now says soprano. And if I hit this drop-down list, I'm given all these choices of soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and then some other variations. By simply clicking through these different choices, I can immediately get a different kind of harmony going. And it's very interesting to listen to the difference that happen when I make these different choices. Let's listen to them real quick. You've already heard soprano. Let's change it to alto and see how that sounds. What if we come back over and take the option for tenor? Let's listen to some of those notes. Every time it's slightly different as the notes follow these different voicings. Let's see what happens if we use the new Omnivocal. Initially, when we install that track, we get these basic tones. Once again, we can come over to the live input, turn that on for chords. Then if we play and record a part like we did before, it changes to an ah. Let's put some words on here. I'll go into the key editor, select the first note, come up to this text area and type in a word and just move along that way. And then we have lyrics. This is song I sing, it had notes, So now if we hold Alt and duplicate this track, we don't have to retype in the lyrics. This is song I sing, it had notes, And that sounds interesting just in itself. But let's do what we did before. Come over to say Follow the Chord Track, change it to a single voice. Again, I'll just take Follow Directly. Let's change to the soprano voice. Let's see what that gave us. This is song I sing, That's definitely pretty nice. We could use that at some point. Let's continue on. I'm going to hold Alt and bring that down. And then I'm going to go back to the first voice. And instead of soprano, I'll change it to this alto option. Let's see what that did. This is song I sing, Really nice. Let's do it one more time. Copy this track down, and I'll go back and change this alto to the option for tenor. Let's see what that gave us. This is song I sing, If you needed some quick background vocals, that would definitely do the trick. Let me rename these. I'll call this main and add in soprano, the alto, and finally the tenor. These events are actually tied to the chord track. If I loop over this A chord, and I actually click on the A chord to edit it, if I begin changing elements of the chord, all these vocals are actually going to follow whatever changes I make. For example, if I change it to a minor chord, now it sounds like this. Or I change it to a diminished chord, and now it sounds like this. So it's lots of fun to customize your chords and then hear how the parts will follow. But then if you want to actually edit these MIDI events, say I select all of these at once, go up to MIDI, tell it to open up in the key editor, I now have all of the notes from all of the parts available here to be edited. But a strange behavior occurs if you've never seen it before. Let's say I choose one of these notes and highlight it, and then I decide I want to lower that pitch. So I drag it down, and when I let go of it, it snaps right back to where it was, making it impossible for me to make any changes or perform any kind of editing on these individual notes. The reason that happens is because as long as this option for a single voice is active, these parts are basically locked in place. So if you want to do some individual editing, you actually want to turn the voices off. Now if I return to the key editor and I choose any particular note and move that someplace, it remains wherever I move it. With all of these parts together, it gives you a great option for you to be able to edit notes and see how they compare to the other notes from the other parts. If you look over on the left, you're given a list, in this case of the 4 tracks I selected before I entered the key editor. You'll notice one of these has an underline, and anytime I click on a different one, that gets the underline. If I move this screen so you can see the project, you'll notice as I select these and they become underlined, that change is also reflected in the project view. So this underline is referring to whatever is the selected track. Because all of these notes from all of these tracks are visible at the same time, there may be notes that are on top of other notes from other tracks. As you click on any particular note, that also updates this list over here on the left. If I click this note on top, then it underlines the soprano, letting me know that's the selected track. It really has nothing to do with the highlight, only what's underlined. Up on the toolbar, you want to right-click and make sure an option that says Multiple Part Controls is checked. This gives you an option where when you click on it, you can choose various ways of editing things. If you take this last one, it says all the parts on the active track. You'll notice that as you select any of your tracks, that as you make a selection, every track you choose gets the underline and becomes the selected track. What happens at that point is I can click and drag over all of these notes, but the only thing that's going to highlight are the notes from that selected track. If I make a different choice, let's say I go back over here and make soprano the selected track, when I click and drag over all these notes, only the soprano notes become highlighted. Moving over to the tab that says Scale Assistant, you can choose to use the chord track. Moving down to this drop-down, we can choose chords specifically. And then there's this option that says Snap Pitch Editing. Typically when you move notes around, they move chromatically, which means they're going to hit every single note that's possible, whether it's up or down. Selecting these tenor notes, if I hit my down arrow, everything moves exactly in relation to what it is, but no longer takes into account any relation to the chords. So moving these notes like this, they may move right out of tune. When you turn the snap pitch editing on, these notes no longer move chromatically. Now they move in relation to whatever your chord events are. To make this demonstration clear, I'm actually going to move these notes visually quite a bit higher. Then I'm going to choose my alto notes on the left, make another selection, and move those notes up higher. Then I'm going to select these notes and mute them. And then finally selecting soprano, I'm going to move those out of the way so I can see if there's any main melodic notes that are underneath those notes. In this case, I can see that there are. Sometimes when you're creating these harmonies, if notes overlap or playing the same exact note, that's where you can get some of that phasing sound. By enabling the snap pitch editing, we can take any of these parts and move them harmonically, whether it's all of the notes or just a few select notes, and that way we can make sure our harmony is going to sound as natural as possible. If I play these where I've moved them,
this is songwriter, sing it at notes, blah blah blah.
So what I'm going to do is bring them back down.
This is songwriter, sing it at notes.
And we can hear that sounds really good, except in this area where the notes overlap each other. At that point, we get that phase sound. So what I can do is now just select those particular notes, and I can move them up or down, but they move harmonically, meaning they're going to go to the next chord tone, which is going to give us some great results. If we move it up,
at notes,
or if we move them down,
at notes,
we can add any of these other voices in. I'll go up and select my alto notes, and then I can bring them down with the arrow, producing this kind of result.
This is songwriter, sing it at notes.
Let's add our final tenor notes in here. If I take them all the way to the bottom, giving us this final result.
This is songwriter. song la, sing it, add notes, ah, blah, blah, blah.
Understanding your chord functions, how you can apply them to create harmonic parts or actual harmonies will help you arrive at your final productions with a feeling of having skill and understanding of some powerful editing techniques. And if you're looking to increase your skill level on all the different features and functions in Cubase, be sure to click the link in the description below or visit thedigitalaudio.manual.com for more information. As always, it's great to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.